Bro, that's such a fine line, by the way. Like, how do you know you're giving it your all before giving up, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do you like? It's just impossible to know unless you like. I'm trying to think in my life as well because like I I got a business degree and I took a few data classes which made me fall into business analytics and IT. But like towards the end of senior year, I'm like, this is not for me. I and then afterwards, even after graduation, I like tried to take some data courses again just to freshen up on Coursera, Udemy. I couldn't even get past like the first lecture, like without falling asleep or getting bored or like procrastinating in between the classes, right? So
And why do you think so?
it just wasn't engaging to me. Like when I first
Okay.
started it, it felt like okay, it's a little bit like coding, like solving a puzzle. But then it just I don't know, I didn't like the process, right? Like
You know,
I don't know how to
that's how I
explain
feel.
it. Maybe maybe I found the work a little more monotonous and less creative in a way, but you could make it creative as well with dashboards and Tableau and like all that stuff. So it's that's not an excuse either, you know. But like
I
in my
think
heart, at least, I feel like I tried my best with it during undergrad and then afterwards trying to get a job. I remember like when I was at your house.
yeah, I remember
Um,
that you were sitting at my dining table trying to focus on Tableau, and I'm like, okay, it's pretty
no,
cool.
I wasn't even talking about that. Like um, that was one thing because like one of our family friends asked me to do Tableau so that he could try referring me for a job, but I couldn't even do that much for that job.
Hmm.
But like one of your dad's friends, I think I forgot her name. She has like an IT recruitment firm in Jersey, in Chicago or something, or
Okay.
Detroit. And like I got her number, I called her, and like the first thing I said was that I'm not the best at coding. I don't understand Java, but XYZ. And then your dad just yelled at me for like a good hour because like that's not how you sell yourself when you're trying to get a job. Like when you're gonna introduce yourself as someone, you're gonna say like, I know Python, I know R, I can create Facebook again. Like you know, like so not enjoying the process also has to do with your confidence in that field. And I wasn't feeling that confident to begin with.
Yeah, I
That's why
think you
I
hit
was
on a lot of key things there, and those can even itself dive into other topics, right? Like confidence coming in and faking it till you make it versus trying. Like there's a lot of things that we can talk about there, but I think the key points I want to bring up is you're right. Like you should have some confidence. But at the same time, you also said something important. You said that I think I gave it my all, my heart, and then I decided that it wasn't really working out for me. I think that's really important, right? At the end of the day, I think there's a really big gray area, right? Like, I am a very self-critical person, so no matter how, I don't believe in giving up, and that may sound good, like never give up, like believe it,
I will be Hokage.
right? Naruto wants to be Hokage, but this man is down for every single up and down. This man doesn't change. His determination stays there, and yeah, like he keeps saying, "I won't do this until I'm Hokage. I won't do this until I'm Hokage." But never once in a show does he ever doubt, and never once does he stop. I feel like his work ethic just goes up and up and up and up because because what the show kind of doesn't directly highlight, but indirectly highlights for like the true fans is this man was found a goal, was determined, kept on repeating it, was manifesting it until it became true, right? He became one of the greatest Hokages. But at the same time, what they didn't really focus on was really what you should have picked up is how he loves to train. Non-stop, all this man is doing is training. Every chance he gets, he's training. And he's training for long hours by himself. He loves the grind. I think about like Kobe. I think about what I often think about what differentiates you from being one of the greats and from being really good. Like what really differentiates the greats, right? And if your goal coming into something is being one of the greatest, I think that's a very delicate thing to do, right? I think you should have a very mature mindset. You want to be the greatest, good. You should have the confidence for it, good. You should have those two things. But I think at the same time, you should have the realization of reality. which is I can't be the greatest if I'm focused on being better than everyone else. I have to focus on being better than what I was before. And in order to be better than what I was before, I need to fall in love with the grind, the journey, and challenge myself. And if I love the grind and journey more than anyone else, then truly I have the potential to be the greatest. And I think the same thing goes for anything we do. All the greats you see out there, they're all authentic. Now, after a while, yeah, they get a little fake, a little like basic stuff in that because they reach a certain level, then they have to innovate more. But even getting to that point of being considered one of the greatest, reaching that bracket requires you to fall in love with the grind, fall in love with what you're doing, fall in love with the journey, not focusing on the destination. Because not everything you do during the journey will directly lead to your destination, right? And depending on how much you wane off the path, how different it is from the destination, you can determine whether it's good or not. But I think overall we tend to psych ourselves out like, oh, I'm not getting enough views. Oh, I'm not learning as much. Oh, I don't see how this is gonna help me become XYZ. But I can give an example of like I said Kobe, right? Kobe loved the grind. This man was in the locker was in the gym in the on the courts practicing 5 hours before people even came his teammates came for practice. He loved the grind that much and that showed. Steve Jobs, this man, when I was reading his book, and this guy is crazy, right? Like he dropped out of college. He was taking different courses. He took a course on calligraphy and cursive writing. And
Yeah,
what did that lead to? That led to all the fonts in Mac and like iPhone and all that stuff. And his focus on he took a lot of design classes, focus on design, allowed the iPhone to be what it is, right? And he wasn't. I don't think he ever set out to create the iPhone from day one. I think that was a culmination of his journey, where he knew he wanted to do something different. That's why he dropped out of college, right? But his journey and the bits and pieces came together and helped him get something else. And he became one of the greats because he fell in love with the grind of and the details and all that stuff. And that was it and came to fruition with the iPhone. So I feel like in the same way for all of our journeys, and it's so hard, it's so easy said and done, right?